In 2013, Mitch Weiss decided to take a path any lesser man wouldn't dare travel. He now finds himself training to become the Midwest's most knowledgeable sports broadcaster. Focusing on Big Ten and Detroit sports teams, he decided to create a dwelling where his training would go undisturbed, a cave. More specifically, the Man Cave.
No girls allowed.
Mitch enlisted a team of highly sophisticated cavemen into his service to assist him in his tireless search for, well, sports stuff. When they're not sleeping, eating, or, oh yeah, they're analyzing sports as best a caveman can. You have now entered the Man Cave.
Danny Weiss is the youngest member of the Cavemen. Standing 6'4" and a fluffy 243 pounds, this Homo erectus enjoys hunting but will also gather from time to time. He has a striking resemblance to Man-Bear Pig and often laughs at his own jokes. At 5'11", 190 pounds, Milton Marcus Lafayette O'Quinn III has the daunting task of being the president and only member of the Joey Harrington fan club. When not watching sports, he enjoys candlelit baths while listening to his favorite album, Big Willie Style. Daniel D-Mac McDonald comes in at 6'1", 200 pounds and hails from the inner city of Bloomfield Hills. He enjoys enjoyable things, sleeps when he's tired, and hopes that one day Ryan Gosling will get a tattoo of Sparty on his chest.
Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mitch.
And this is the Man Cave.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mitch's Man Cave. I'm your host, Mitch Weiss, and I'm down here with two of the cavemen, Milton and Jason. D-Mac is in Minnesota, so he will not be gracing us with his presence tonight, but we'll get on with the Man Cave. It's been a tough week for Detroit sports, probably one of the toughest weekends that I can remember as a fan. The Tigers got ousted from the ALCS by the Boston Red Sox in 6 games. The Lions lost on a last-second field goal to the Bengals after a shanked punt by rookie punter Sam Martin. And then Jim Leyland stepped down as the Tigers manager. Can you guys remember a tougher weekend, sports weekend for Detroit?
No, got to be honest.
I even look back on some history, some former weekends. We had the Red Wings and the Pistons in 2008. The Pistons were in the Eastern Conference Finals the same weekend that the Red Wings were playing games 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup. And they were both at the Palace and at the Joe, but they both won. So that was a marvelous weekend. But yeah, this past weekend has to be one of the worst I've ever seen.
It's been a hard year overall for the state of Michigan sports because you couple this weekend with the Wings blowing that 3-1 lead in the playoffs to the Blackhawks in the second round, and then Michigan blowing the halftime lead in the NCAA basketball championship game. And you can even go back to last October when the Tigers got swept in the World Series. So it's really been hard times for the Detroit sports fans recently.
Yeah.
We're starting to get that reputation of Detroit Choke City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't like that either. But
Me neither. I hope that we can start shedding that reputation in the upcoming years. But anyways, let's move on to the big news of this week, which was Jim Leyland stepping down as Tigers manager on Monday after 8 seasons with Detroit. He took the Tigers to 2 World Series, didn't win one, but won 3 AL Central titles during his time here. And I want to get your opinion. Would you consider his run here in Detroit a success?
I definitely consider it a success. I mean, 3, like you said, 3 straight AL Central titles. I know we got the guy to win championships, but he managed his ball club very well, and they should have won. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't swinging the bats. They were.
Right.
He set them up to succeed, and they just didn't come through in the clutch.
I'll second that. if you look at the Tigers for a long time, they were one of the most pathetic ball clubs around in the early 2000s. And it wasn't until Jim Leland showed up that they actually started performing like the Tigers of old. So I definitely think he did a terrific job as a manager, and still no World Series, but a couple of pennants is a lot from that 113 loss season we had. What was it, 2003?
Yep.
So we came a long way, and he's going to be missed. I'll tell you, I'll miss him.
Right. I mean, people forget what we were before he got here. The state of the franchise was horrible. So in my opinion, I mean, the early years have definitely got to be considered a success, taking us to the World Series in 2006. And like I said, considering where the franchise was before. I even think up until this year, you got to consider it a success, in winning 2 straight AL Central titles and going to the World Series last year. But this year, even with the 3rd straight AL Central title, I still would say that it's a complete failure. Just this year alone, not the overall 8 years that he was here. But not all of that is on Leland for this season. In fact, I think that he has little blame when it comes to this season, because all he did was put the players in the position to succeed. He played the percentages and got the matchups. This is with the bullpen, got the matchups that they were looking for, and the players just didn't come through. Most notably, like I said, the bullpen, but also Prince Fielder. So, you can't put Leland, you can't blame Leland for his bullpen, because that's what, Dave Dombrowski put that bullpen together. So if anyone wants to play the blame game, which I don't, I personally hate playing the blame game, but if you want to play that game, blame Dombrowski, because Leland was just playing the pieces that he was given by Dombrowski, and he didn't have a sufficient bullpen. They blew 2 games by giving up grand slams. If they don't give up those 2 grand slams and the Tigers win those 2 games, we're playing game 1 of the World Series right now. And then you can't blame Jim Leland for Fielder not showing up in the playoffs once again. But I will say that the one and only questionable move that I saw by Leland was when he did reshuffle the lineup, putting Prince in the 3rd spot when he was already struggling, because the 3rd spot is widely regarded as the spot where you put your best hitter. And to put a guy who's slumping that hard in the 3rd spot, I thought was a bogus move. But other than that, I don't think that you can blame Jim Leland for much of what went on. And what I really don't like is these fans, and you guys know who I'm talking about, right after the Tigers were out of the playoffs, and even during that last playoff series, all the guys who are just jumping on Leland's back, calling him out, saying that he sucks and he should be out of here and they hope he gets fired. And then the day that he steps down, the same people, oh, Jim, I love you, I miss you, thanks for the great 8 years, blah, blah, blah. So just stop it. Just stick to your guns. If you hate the guy, let it be known. If you love the guy, let it be known. But don't flip-flop and go back and forth, because that's bogus. What do you guys think about that? Were you guys one of those people that got on his back when he was, managing us in the series, and then said you love him when he retired or stepped down?
No, I was always a member of Jim Leland fan club, so he could do no wrong to me. I felt that every move he made, the papers, the media would say, "Oh, that's bold. You shouldn't do that," but he did it anyway. I liked his style. He didn't care what, if he was going to get crucified for making certain calls. He just went with his gut, and he preached playing the right way, kind of like Larry Brown for the Pistons. These older guys, they have a lot of wisdom, and it's not that they're stubborn in their ways. It's just they know how to play the right way.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I got mad love for Jim Leland.
Yeah, I never hated on him. Definitely losing, people want to point the finger, but you need to look at the guys who are making the big bucks and who are getting paid, like you were saying,
right.
the players. And as a manager, you couldn't really ask for a better squad to have.
No.
One of the best squads ever when you look at them on paper. And to all the haters out there, they should just close their mouths, because if you're going to hate on the guy, hate on the guy. But don't start giving me this, no, we're going to miss you.
Right, right after you hate on him.
Right after you do that. That's just ridiculous.
Well, here's what I will say about those people, too, is I feel like a lot of them are misinformed and just go by what the media tells them. Because, yeah, the Tigers had the 4th largest payroll in the league, and they're stacked with star, well-known players. But if you look at the teams that are successful in the playoffs and the model that they're built on, they have speed, they have great fielding ability, and they have great bullpens. And the Tigers don't have any of those. You know, they have a great lineup top to bottom for getting on base and power. They have great horses for starting pitching. But when the game's on the line and you need a defensive stop or a bullpen to come in and shut a guy down or, you know, a guy to generate a run by stealing bases, we don't have that. We weren't generating runs. We weren't shutting the door with our bullpen, and we weren't fielding cleanly. I mean, we saw examples of all that in the Boston series.
Well, yeah, every game I felt with our starting pitchers, I would pray that they would go 8 innings.
Right.
You know, just let them go 8. And even then I was nervous with Benoit coming in.
Right.
But, you know, you can't have your starting pitchers go 8 every inning or every game. It's just not going to happen. So I second what you're saying there.
And you can't have a team not produce any timely hitting. That's huge.
Yeah, that's another thing,
you know,
too.
when a guy gets on base, that's huge. You have to do something with that. You have to knock that RBI in, because the Tigers, I bet, led the playoffs in runners left stranded on base, or errors in the base paths, trying to steal and getting caught up, or running through stop signs to try and score.
And that's not Jim Leland either. That's on the players. I mean, Cabrera came up, and I forgot what game it was. I think it might have been game 4, I want to say. And there was a guy on third, 1 out. We were down by 1, and he struck out. And the same thing happened earlier in the game with Infante, who's usually very reliable with the bat. He had a guy on third with 1 out, and he struck out. And then the next game, Cabrera did the same thing again. So you got the best hitter of this generation up with a guy on third, 1 out, with a chance to put a run on the board, and he just chokes. And it wasn't Jim Leland up there swinging the bat. It was Miguel Cabrera. So stop putting the blame on Jim Leland. I know being a manager is not a glorified position, because when stuff goes bad, everything is your fault. And when stuff goes good, you don't get any of the praise. It's all about the players, they were great. And, you know, so just get off the guy's back. He was great for us. He loves our city. He loves our fans.
What would you say to the people out there that would blame him for Miggy not being 100% in the playoffs? Because I personally, I think that he's a talent. You know, Miggy wants to be out there. Miggy wants to play. And at the end of the day, you got to let him play. But, you know, there's a lot of people who are pinning Jim Leland as not being smart for not resting Miggy early on.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, if they did their research, there was an article that came out right after we got booted from the playoffs. And the doctor said that even if Leland had rested Cabrera, the injury he had, it wouldn't have gotten any better, because he actually might need surgery in the offseason. So he could sit out and the injury wouldn't get better, or he could just stay in the game and, you know, keep the injury the same. So.
And Leland, he also said that he went to Miguel and asked him, and of course Miguel, being a huge competitor, was like, no way. And that's how close Jim was with his players, you know.
Right.
He didn't make decision calls because it was the right thing to do. He actually said, hey, man, you know, we're friends. We work together, but I'm also, you know, one of the guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to ask your opinion. I'm not just going to do what I think needs to be done.
I think that's what makes him such a great manager, is that he understands where the players are coming from, being a former player himself, and he trusts them to make the right decision when it comes to how they're feeling. I mean, Max Scherzer told them when he came to the dugout, and after 7 innings, I'm done. He said, I'm done. I don't have anything left. You know, take me out, put somebody else in. That's the kind of trust that they had, player and coach. And I don't think that's something that you can replace. I mean, there's not a lot of guys who can do that.
I'm going to miss him. That's all I got.
Yeah, me too. So the question now becomes, who's going to be the next manager for the Tigers? A lot of names have been thrown out, and Dombrowski said that a decision will be made no later than next month. So we should be expecting a decision in the near future. Personally, I really hope that they don't go with a guy who has already been a manager, because if he's available now, that means that he's already been fired once before and been a failure. Unless you're talking about a guy like Tony La Russa or Joe Torre, but obviously those guys are not coming out of retirement to come to Motown. But I really would like to see a fresh face. I really like former catchers as managers. Leland was a former catcher. Torre, former catcher. Joe Girardi, Mike Scioscia, Bruce Bochy, Bob Melvin, just to name a few, all former catchers who are or have been successful managers. And for those who are worried about bringing in a manager with little to no experience, all you have to do is look at the St. Louis Cardinals. Their manager, Mike Matheny, who also is a former catcher, had no managing experience prior to the season, and he's got them in the World Series. And the reason I like catchers so much as managers is because when they play, they have their hand in all different facets of the game. You know, they control the pitchers, they hit themselves, they field. So they really have a good feel of the game because they're kind of like the on-field manager, per se, you know? So that's why I really like catchers as a manager. A guy I'd really like to see, whose name has been thrown around a couple times in the past few years when positions have become available, is former Tigers catcher Brad Ausmus. He knows the organization. I think he had 2 stops here in his playing career. And when he played, he was known for having a great baseball mind and being a solid defensive catcher. And he has a little managing experience with actually Team Israel in the World Baseball Championships. And this past season, he was a special assistant for the San Diego Padres. So he's been in not a managing role, but he's had a coaching position with a Major League Baseball team. And so I think that he would be a great choice. I really don't want to see a guy like Dusty Baker or Ozzie Guillen. God forbid, I would hate Ozzie Guillen would be a terrible choice. But what about you guys? Have you guys looked at any names possibly coming along to the Tigers?
You actually hit mine right on the head. It's your boy Ozzie
Oh, you
Guillen,
can't be serious.
Well,
man.
former White Sox manager. He hails from Venezuela. He's going to be boys with Miguel and the rest of the Venezuelans on the team. He's going to let the boys play. He's going to take the heat off with his antics from the media.
Don't
Why do you
forget
want
his,
those
don't,
antics,
don't
though?
forget his pitiful stop
Oh.
in Miami, the Miami
Yeah.
Marlins.
Oh.
He did win a
Miserable
World
out there.
Series, though. He did win a World Series with the White Sox, and he brought some good leadership to that team.
Yeah.
I
Good
just-
for maybe like one day.
The only thing that I'm nervous about bringing in a guy like Ausmus or something is we have a lot of big heads on our team. Not in a bad way, you know, but these guys have been in the league. A Prince Fielder, a Miguel Cabrera, a Torrey Hunter, and Austin Jackson, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, the list goes on. And we need someone like a Leland who's able to deal with all these big personalities.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why somebody who's already been a manager might be good. But what you brought up, Dusty Baker, I do not want to see Dusty Baker. If we're going to bring in a manager, we need to bring in someone who's proven, who's done it, and not just got far enough, but has won. You know, because we need to win.
We need to win.
Not with Ozzie Guillen,
No.
like Milt was talking about, because that'd be something else.
No, we're built to win right now, so it's got to happen.
But I'd like to see a Tony La Russa. I think that'd be awesome. You know?
I don't think he's coming out.
I don't think he will either. But that's if I had it my way,
La Russa.
that's who I would take of everybody out there.
I don't think anyone would disagree with you there, because I would love to have La Russa, but I just don't. I'm not going to get myself hyped up because I really don't see that happening.
Yeah, me either.
Well, we'll see. I
But-
feel like in the next couple of weeks, names are going to start to come to the surface, and
In
we'll
a
get a better
perfect
idea.
world. In a perfect world.
In a
But
perfect world.
that would be cool if LaRussa did come, because him and Leland are boys.
Right.
And so we could kind of have Leland's say in LaRussa's head.
Well, I think I saw that Leland's stepping down from manager, but he's still going to have a role in management.
Yeah.
So
he's going to stay with the Tigers.
yeah, so he'll have an opinion, which I think is great because even though he won't be the manager, and hopefully we do win a World Series in the next couple of years with this roster we have, he'll at least get a piece of the pie if we do complete it. But we'll see what happens. But let's move on. We'll go over to the Red Wings. They're off to a strong start, 5-3-1, good for 13 points in second place in the Atlantic Division, trailing the Maple Leafs by 1.
He shoots, he scores.
Yeah. Henrik Zetterberg, the captain, he's off to a tremendous start, and Daniel Alfredsson, one of the new acquisitions this offseason, is playing extremely well in his first season with the Wings. Pleasant surprise this past week when Jimmy Howard went down. I thought that we were going to go on a little losing streak there. I was worried, but backup goalie Jonas Gustafsson filled in admirably and picked up 3 wins. There's still room for improvement, obviously, with our young defense and a couple guys on injury, but as soon as we get Cronwall back and Erickson back and Helm back, I think that we've got a very promising season ahead of us. What do you guys think?
I agree. I'm excited. They're playing really well. I mean, in my whole life, there hasn't been a time where I wasn't excited about the
Isn't
Red
that
Wings.
crazy that our whole life, man?
Or when they weren't playing well,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely excited. That's really all I have to say right now about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's early, so it's tough to jump to conclusions right now, but the start is very encouraging.
Yeah, I like the way the offense looks a lot.
Yeah.
Really, it reminds me of the championship team in 2008 when Datsuk and Zetterberg were on the same line. And
it's
just
deep.
putting up numbers, and they are
It's
deep.
deep, man. They
Their
go 3
rookies
lines
are
deep.
no longer rookies. Like Abdelkader's grown up. He's playing really nice. De Kaiser,
Kaiser's a beast.
he's a beast.
Oh my God! Watching him with the
Oh
puck,
my gosh.
he's so smooth with the puck, and he knows when to shoot, when to pass. He's gonna be a stud. I'm so happy that we were able to pick him up last season. That was huge.
We've had a couple of tough losses, like against the Sharks the
Yeah.
other night. I was watching that, and Bertuzzi, it was just Andy Niemi made an unbelievable leg save.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable
Lifted his
leg
leg at the
save.
last
I was
second.
watching that shootout.
And, you know, that's our game. But if we're gonna lose games like that, that's even more promising for us.
Hey.
You know, because we're in it. They're undefeated right now.
Right.
And, you know, we shut them out until the overtime, and that was just a brutal way to go down right there. You could see the pain in Bertuzzi's eyes. Like, how did you save that?
Well, I couldn't believe it. I was going crazy. I was watching that shootout too.
That was
How
like
he
a Dominic
just
Hasek
flicked his legs
save.
up there, blind. I mean, he had no idea. He just did that out of pure luck. But you got to be impressed with the start. And the guys are gelling. It's nice to see that Alfredson and Stephen Weiss to a degree. I mean, he hasn't had as good of a start as Alfredson, but seems like they're meshing quickly, which is good.
Yeah, we're not really missing Damian Bruner too much. So
No.
I like that.
No.
Those guys really filled in well for him.
Have you guys paid attention to what he's doing?
I haven't paid
I
attention to
haven't
him
either.
or Valtteri.
I know Phillips has 4 goals.
Ooh.
He has 4 goals. He's probably playing a more prominent role with them than he was with us, though. But, yeah, moving forward, it's looking like it's going to be a good season. I'm glad that we bounced back and beat Boston because they really whipped us that first time.
They did.
Yeah.
And then they come back and beat them. That was nice.
Nobody's off to a start like Alex Ovechkin, though. Have you seen what this guy's doing? 9 goals already.
Oh, yeah, he's got
Out of
9 goals.
Washington.
I think
Yeah.
Crosby has something like 14 points already, too, in only 8 or 9 games.
Those guys are something.
Yeah, those guys are crazy.
But they don't have a team like the Red Wings.
No,
See you guys in June.
they don't have Babcock and his great hair behind the bench
Oh,
telling
yeah.
him what to do. I hope that when I'm his age that I just have great hair like that still.
Yeah.
I wonder if he uses products in that hair.
Probably.
I think it's just the jeans.
You think it's the
I
jeans?
think it's the jeans.
I've already started losing mine on top, so I would definitely love
Yeah.
to have some hair like that.
Why don't you put
Thinning.
some stuff in your hair, Jay?
What, you talking like Rogaine or Propecia or
Yeah.
something like that? It's not worth it to me. you
Nah,
know?
you're just
No.
going to let nature take its course?
If this is what they wanted for me, then this is what I got to be like.
See, I think I'm going the opposite way. As soon as I start seeing signs of me losing my hair, I'm applying some stuff.
Oh, me too.
I think maybe the people out there are a little confused at how much hair I actually do have on my head still, though. It's not that bad. It's just
Nah.
No,
starting
you got a full
to
head.
starting to go a little bit.
It is starting to go.
I'm just gonna run with it. Got to stop wearing these hats, maybe.
There you go.
Your brother's doesn't have any hair.
No, he doesn't. He started losing it at like 21.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then he said, you know what, I'm shaving it off.
yeah.
And he looks good though. He told me I have a good dome and a good size set of ears to go with it. So maybe I
Well,
could pull
I
it off.
remember, I don't remember if it was middle school or elementary school.
Oh, it was elementary school. I
But
remember
Josh
that vividly.
shaved your head and you had a big mole.
Yeah, I do. I wonder if it's still there.
Got to get that removed if you're going to go topless on your dome.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully I'm going to keep the hair for a while. I'd like to keep my top on if I could.
All right, well, we wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so the Pistons,
Yeah.
they're ready to start their season on Tuesday, right? Tuesday's the first game?
Wednesday.
Okay, I
against
know
the
the season starts
Wizards.
next week.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of hype and optimism surrounding the team. They made a bunch of moves this offseason, brought in some young players, highlight reel
Josh
players.
Smith.
You got Josh Smith,
Brandon Jennings.
Chauncey.
bringing back Mr. Big Shot.
Phillips.
Garen Sheed on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
Coaching
Mr.
boys.
Sheed on the bench.
Coaching boys.
So with those new acquisitions and the growth of Monroe and Andre Drummond, they should definitely make the playoffs. I don't think they'll be in that conversation for one of the top 5 seeds. I think those are pretty much locked down. But 6 through 8, the Pistons are as good as any of the teams that are going to be pursuing those spots.
They're always pretty fluid in the Eastern Conference, I think.
Yeah. But Drummond in particular has been receiving a lot of media attention. I don't go 2 days without reading something on Grantland or NBA on ESP or NBA.com or ESPN's NBA section regarding him. And some have gone as far as declaring him the next Dwight Howard, which, if you look at his stature and his athleticism, the comparison can be made. but we've got to see a lot more on court if we're going to start calling him Superman 2.
Yeah.
That's true.
But on a negative note, I hate being negative, but new addition Brandon Jennings made headlines for the wrong reasons. He had a birthday party out in L.A., which I think is his hometown. I think he's from the Inglewood or Compton area. But he got punched in the face at his own birthday party by Rapper of the Game, and as a result will miss the first week of games because he's experiencing jaw discomfort after being socked in the face. It's kind of a noob injury to sit out with, but
Yeah, but if Game hit you in the face, you'd be a little sore too.
hell yeah.
At your birthday, though, this
Yeah.
is your day. I mean, it's like you blow out the candles on the cake and then get popped in the face.
That's Game though.
I saw the
wouldn't-
invitation though. It was he rented out a club.
Yeah.
So if him and the Game had beef, why would he even invite the Game to come inside to his birthday?
I'd want the Game to be at my birthday. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you wouldn't talk to him like that in that way to get yourself punched in the face by him.
No, you're right. Valid point.
I guess the club is a spot that the Game goes regularly, and for Brandon Jennings' birthday, he kept on like going up to the DJ, grabbing the mic, stopping the music, because it's his birthday.
Right.
He rented out the place, but the Game didn't like that. Chit chat, one thing led to another. Take a nap.
Whatever happened to good old just talking it out? Let's just have some words. Let's come to an agreement.
I guess not in L.A.
Not in L.A.
No, not with the Game.
Nah.
Because him and 50 couldn't work it out either.
That's true.
So not exactly the first impression that you're looking for, but I think he'll be a good guy in the court for us. Have you watched any of the preseason games?
I watched last night's.
I saw last night's too. That was really the only one that I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was impressed.
They got to get Bynum some time, dude.
Well, they
Oh,
also
yeah,
have to
man.
not
Will
blow
the thrill?
blow 20-point leads.
Yeah, they can't blow 20-point leads, but when Jennings comes back, and you got to think that Chauncey's going to be the backup point guard, where are the minutes going to come from for Bynum? And because he's got great chemistry with Drummond, and he's great at throwing those oops.
Yeah.
Did that make the number one on the top 10?
I don't think it was number one, but it was on the
They
countdown.
were talking about it.
They
Yeah.
showed like all 3 or 4 oops that he threw up in
Yeah.
one game to the Dogs.
So who do you guys think is going to be the shooting guard? That's the big mystery right now.
I mean, aren't they talking KCP?
No, earlier, a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week, Mo Cheeks dismissed him as being in the running for the starting spot. He said it was down to Chauncey, Singler, and Stuckey.
I want to see Chauncey.
I'd love to see Chauncey.
See, if it's Chauncey, then Bill Bynum will get minutes.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going, Milt. My bad.
But I think Chauncey likes to run the point more anyway.
He does.
Naturally.
He does.
But I could see, I heard Singler's been doing some good things.
Yeah.
I could see him.
I just don't know if he's
going
going to be able to play D against NBA shooting guards. He's probably more fit for, guarding the small forwards.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like Stuckey coming off the bench. I've always said that. I think that his skill set, being a combo guard, because he can run the point and he can also play shooting guard at his size, I think he'd just be a great guy to bring off the bench, because then he's your only guard. You bring him in, he can play 1 or 2. You got a couple minutes for Bynum in there if you want to get him and Bynum on the floor together. But I think if he's in the starting lineup, we're not going to be able to stretch the floor because he can't shoot threes. Jennings is a decent three-point shooter, but not on par with other point guards in the NBA. We all know about Josh Smith, and then obviously Monroe and Drummond aren't shooting any threes anytime soon. So that would be a difficult lineup for the Pistons to generate offense, because everybody would just collapse their defense in on the paint and try and take away our big guys, which is our real strength. So I'm really hoping. I was upset when I heard that he's already telling KCP that he's not in the running, because even if he wasn't, producing double-digit points, we don't need him to. That's not what we need him to do. He's a great defender, and he can shoot threes, so he would stretch the floor, and he would fit in well with those guys. And even Chauncey. I mean, Chauncey can shoot the three.
Peyton Siva can shoot the 3 too.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about him.
You think he's going to make the roster, or is he going down to the D-League?
I hope he does. I like what I've seen from him, and
That means you got 4 point guards on the roster, though.
That's true.
He could really benefit, I think, from going down to our D-League team.
Yeah.
And getting some run, getting some PT.
Anyway, I'm excited. 'Cause
Yeah, me too.
We have a lot of talent and a lot of depth, and we can run, a lot of combos.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have
Bynum
lots
and
of
Chauncey, or Jennings and KCP, or Singler, and
Lots of
Stucky,
versatility.
I mean, you know,
Let's not forget about the guy we got from Italy, the Italian
Tome.
League MVP, Tome.
Yeah.
He's a sharpshooter as well. And then Tony Mitchell, the other rookie, that dude can fly, man. He was catching some alley-oops, too, from Bynum in the game last night that I saw.
Bynum throws a pretty oop.
He does. He does. He's quick. He's good at penetrating into the lane and getting those guys set up.
Yeah, that's why I was getting tired of all the Bynum haters last year. People were hating on Bynum. And I'm a big fan of Bynum.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Bynum.
I'm
He's
too.
quick, and, you know, he's smart with the ball, and that's all you got to ask for out of a point guard.
And he dunks on kids at 5'9".
He's strong.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Some Nate Robinson stuff.
I haven't been this excited about a Pistons season probably since before the Chauncey trade, before Joe D blew up the Bad Boys 2 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not even talk about Allen Iverson.
Oh, my God.
But we got him back. Billups.
Yep.
No, cannot wait.
You think he's going to have his jersey retired when all is said and done?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If he doesn't, I'll put a bid in that he should.
Ben Wallace?
Got to. You have to.
Yeah, how many Defensive Player of the Years
Uh-huh.
did he win?
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
4? Something?
Yeah. Rip Hamilton?
Nah.
Tayshaun?
I don't think so.
I love you, Tay, but no,
Nah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either of those two guys. Chauncey and Ben were the faces of that team
Yeah, 1 and 3. I could see that.
for sure.
Sorry.
So let's get back to some football since it is football season. The Lions are off to a solid start despite that heartbreaking loss to Cincinnati at home on Sunday. But they're 4-3 and they're half a game behind Green Bay in the North Division, NFC North, excuse me. And they've shown glimpses of being a playoff caliber team, but they've also shown glimpses of typical Lions mistakes. So, you know, they could easily be 6-1. They blew games at Arizona and at home against the Bengals this past week in the waning moments of each game. So those kind of mistakes would prove costly if we were in the playoffs. I mean, you just can't make those kind of mistakes when you're in the playoffs or late in the season when you're gunning for a playoff position. But the talent is definitely there. They haven't arrived yet. You know, you can't say that the Lions are one of the marquee teams this season, but they're scratching the surface. And if the pieces come together, we should be watching them in the playoffs. But I will say, after watching these 7 games, I still do not know what the identity of this Lions team is. Offensively, I think it's more clear, but defensively is completely backwards from what I thought it was going to be because the defensive line was supposed to be this dominant force, strongest unit on the team, one of the best in the NFL, and they're 27th in the league in sacks. I think they only have 13 sacks on the season. But the linebackers are playing great. DeAndre Levy in particular. I mean, he's a stud. And then our defensive backs, I know Chris Houston struggled this past week, but our safeties are looking dynamite. So if that defensive line can start getting some pressure, it would actually make the rest of the defense much better. On the offensive side, Stafford seems to have bounced back, and he's playing with amazing confidence, it seems. He's completing almost 62% of his passes and has a very impressive 15 touchdown passes compared to 4 interceptions, which is a great ratio. So it'll be interesting to see if the Lions can put it all together in the second half of the season and make a run. I read that they have the second easiest remaining schedule with an opponent's combined winning percentage of about 38%.
Nice.
So that's promising going forward. If we can beat the teams that we should beat, we'll be right there in the conversation for not only the playoffs, but possibly winning our first NFC North division title. It's weird because we used to be the NFC Central.
Yeah.
So we haven't won since it became the NFC North. We haven't won a division since it became the NFC North.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on the line so far?
I'm loving the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving Matt Stafford. He's always been my favorite. But when was the last time you ever heard this? The Detroit Football Lions are ranked 4th in third down percentage. They're completing so many third down conversions, and that's really third down conversions is what you really need to be good at in order to win ball games and
Right.
keep long drives going. And the fact that they're 4th is really promising. And they're doing all this with being beat up without having Burleson in there and, just to name a few other guys. But I really like the offense. And the defense is matured. It's come a long way from what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
As you were saying, the cornerbacks aren't horrible. They're actually solid, somewhat. And, I look forward to seeing what this football team looks like around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's going to be a big test.
I got to say, two guys I'm really, really excited about and impressed with are Joique Bell and Chris Durham. Durham is stepping in, and he's the tallest wide receiver in the NFL. He's taller than Kelvin at 6'6". Kelvin's 6'5". So when you have two targets that could be starting power forwards in the NBA, that's unbelievable, and I think that has something to do with our third down conversion percentage, especially when you have Reggie Bush coming out of the backfield and Joique looking like a mini Reggie Bush coming out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Because when they're interchangeable right now, I think Joique is putting up just as much as Reggie is, and he's a great third down change of pace back.
And that's great, too, because it keeps both of them refreshed. So they can go all out when they're in, get a breather, get their stamina back, and then go back in and, go at it again.
And our offensive line is a little banged up.
Yeah.
We had a couple guys go out, but we're still hanging tight. Stafford's still putting up stats. We're putting up points. And to touch on what Milton was saying, I'm glad to see that nobody has taken the top off our defense right now, except for that A.J. Green
play.
82-yard play.
Yeah.
And I'll give him that. And Houston even talked about it, and Schwartz talked about it. And then Darius Slay, the rook, came in and played pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
He was off to a slow start early on in the season, but he's definitely starting to show flashes of a very good cornerback.
Yeah.
And so
I want to go back.
I'm excited. 4-3, man.
Yeah.
4-3.
You can't be disappointed with it, but it's a little upsetting that they've given away 2 of those games.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
absolutely.
4-3. If the playoffs started tomorrow, we'd be in. We're half a game out of the division lead. So, all in all, good start. I want to go back and touch on what you were saying about the height, though, of Calvin and Chris Durham. You add in Joseph Fourier,
right,
who's 6'7", Pettigrew, who's also over 6'5".
We cut Scheffler, didn't we?
We cut Scheffler. I think that he's going to have that concussion is going to end his career.
Yeah, oh, man. That's rough.
Because that's a lot. He's had a bunch of concussions, and it just seems like he wasn't going to come back from that one. But it could also be that they're just super confident in Fourier, which I don't blame him for. I mean, he's shown great strides and
those dance moves,
5 touchdowns. Oh yeah.
Well, Scheffler wasn't the best dancer either.
No,
he had some good ones.
Yeah.
But it's good that to see that the Lions possibly uncovered a hidden gem, because usually that's not our forte.
It's the furthest thing from. We usually pick the
we usually pick the duds. Yeah.
But if you're looking at winning the NFC North, we're not the only banged up team out there.
No.
Cutler went down for the Bears, and
so did Briggs.
Yeah, Briggs.
Yeah.
Jermichael Finley had a terrible injury. They were talking about
he's probably done for his career too. Possibly
what he's going to do with the bruised spine.
Yeah.
You look at the Vikings. I don't know what the Vikings are doing over there.
I think I'm starting for quarterback for them on Sunday.
I don't know if
it has concussion-like symptoms.
I don't know who gave him the concussion. I think maybe they just said he has a concussion.
Yeah,
because his teammates might have hit him over the head.
Yeah, because it wasn't during the game, because he did his press conference after the game, and protocol is if you have a concussion during the game, you're not allowed to take part in the press conference. And it just got released today, announced that he was not going to be the starter because of concussion-like symptoms. Well, something shady going on there.
And the Packers are banged up too, losing Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
So everybody's a little bit banged up,
football.
which is expected, in
football.
the NFL, but we're not the only banged up team.
Right.
And we're looking really good. So
and knock on wood, our injuries aren't to our key players.
Right.
Unlike, those teams you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So, although we will need to get one of those tackles back, because if we don't, we're starting an undrafted free agent at tackle. So, I don't think Hilliard's going to be back this week. I think Riley Reef came back into the game last week, so he should be good to go.
And Jason Fox
has been out, so we'll see if he's able to come back.
And we signed this Barry Richardson.
Barry Richardson we signed, correct.
So, and he did start all the games for St. Louis last year.
Right.
So he could fill in if needed, but
it's tough to come in off the street, though, and just pick up. Yeah. Although the offensive line, if you're a tackle, block the guy in front of you,
Sure. Unless you're Peyton Hillis scoring touchdowns out there.
I couldn't believe that he was on the Giants that I was watching that game.
I know.
Did you see who they started at running back that game?
Wasn't it Michael Cox?
Remember Michael Cox?
Yeah.
He played for Michigan for 4 years, I think he had like 20 touches in his entire career at Michigan.
Why are they starting all these old garbage played out?
No
backs?
idea.
Well, Wilson's out. Andre Brown's out.
Yeah.
Brandon Jacobs is out.
That's
And
the
then
best you could do.
Cox was playing,
Yeah.
and there was one key fumble where he fumbled this handoff.
Right.
And after that, it
Yanked
was
him.
Hillis.
gotta
Hillis
call
all
up-
day. It was Hillis.
You got to call up Kevin Smith, former Detroit
Kevin
Lion.
Smith.
He's sitting on the couch too, man.
Yeah.
He's got quick feet. I seen him do cone drills on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's still ready to strap him up.
Tom Coughlin, you hear that? Milt says call up Kevin Smith.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man. We went out to Kyoto on Saturday. Or was it Friday?
That was
Friday.
Yeah.
It was a Friday because I couldn't make it. I had to work.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Joel's birthday. Joel's been on the show a few times. And it was funny because they have this waiter that comes around because we did sake bombs. And this guy will come around. I think his name is Jason.
Wait, that Japanese guy's name was Jason.
That's what one of the people that we were with told me. They're like,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, Jason the sake guy." I don't. They probably were just
Well,
joking.
at least I was there in spirit.
Right.
Yes, right?
But so the guy came around. What he does is he has these empty mustard bottles, and he fills them with sake, and he just goes around from behind the table and squirts it into your mouth until you tell him to cut off, and it's free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So since it was Joel's birthday, we did one round around, and then we were like, all right, hit Joel again. It's his birthday. And he took both. He had two in his hand, and he took both of them and just unloaded on Joel. And then Joel got behind the bar, grabbed the bottle while the guy was doing the hibachi cooking, and he was just dousing everybody. I didn't let him.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
let
don't-
him
no.
give me any, but
man.
he was
I
getting
wouldn't
all
have
over people's clothes, all over
Yeah.
their face,
By that time, Joel's hand was a little shaky.
a little bit shaky,
You know.
but he was having a good time.
I saw the video on Facebook. I believe my comment was boss.
Yeah,
Just one word, boss.
yeah, that's definitely boss status.
I know I'm gonna have my birthday dinner at Kyoto.
Yeah,
I mean, Mitch did.
I did.
Joel did.
that's
It's
the
a
spot,
great
dude.
spot. It's a great dinner, and it's a great way to start the night before going out later and celebrating.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's on 14 Mile
Near Woodward.
near Crooks.
Crooks.
It's right on the border of the Royal Oak Clawson area.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's kind of by my house.
It's east of that cemetery, the Clover Hill.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
right around that area.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there. Happy birthday, Lowell.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Happy
Dude.
birthday to you, Joel.
Yep.
What are you guys being for Halloween?
Well, here you go. When I was 18, up in Ann Arbor, I bought a blonde mullet wig so I could be Joe Dirt.
Joe Dare.
And I spent $40 on this mullet wig. So for the past...
Wait a minute. The wig was $40.
Yeah, it was $40 from Fantasy Attic Costumes in
What?
Ann Arbor. It's
My whole costume cost $30.
But that's all I needed because I already had the flannel shirt, I already had the facial hair, I already had some ripped jeans, and I already knew how to say, dang. So $40 on the mullet wig. So for the past 7 years, I've been Joe Dirt just because now I've got my money's worth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep going with Joe Dirt, I believe.
I guess if you're going to put $40 into a wig, you might as well just make it an investment.
Hey, I got 7 years out of it,
There you go.
and this will be 8.
Boom. What about you, Milt?
I'm still undecided, but I did think of one possible costume. I was thinking about going with Arthur.
Oh, that'd be a good one. That'd
Little
be a
Arthur,
good one.
get like a yellow sweater, some jeans, some red chucks,
That would
some
be a way to
glasses,
do it.
and get the little aardvark ears or whatever.
Oh,
Do
God.
that.
You know, because I am a big Arthur fan from my past. It's still a little present, so I don't know. That's me.
I gotta ask you something. So the at work, the member advisors, they're all dressing up as superheroes, and we have one black advisor. So he was like, "Who am I gonna be? There's no black superheroes. So who would you go with if you were
Oh.
in that situation?
Probably the Black Power Ranger.
The Black Power Ranger? Oh, that's a
Or,
good one.
What about Silver Surfer? All you got to do is put on some silver
Oh,
paint.
dude, Spawn.
Spawn?
Not many people may not know who Spawn is, but he was a black superhero.
I've never even heard of him.
Kind of like had a costume like Spider-Man, but he was all black with like white.
Was Blank Man? Was he a black guy? Blank Man?
So was Shaft, if you want to
Blake
call
Man was
Shaft.
like Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, that was one of those goofy movies,
That
though,
was
wasn't
goofy
it?
as-
Yeah, I remember Blank Man.
That'd be a funny costume.
That
though,
would
if
be.
People like but you have to be around enough people that know.
Yeah, otherwise they'd have no idea what the hell you are.
Walking around with a plunger and
Well, I got my costume today. I went over to Halloween Spirit It's one of those like
Halloween
USA places that just pop up in those empty vacant spots.
What are you gonna be,
don't
man?
tell me it's. Don't go ahead.
Did I send you a picture?
Yes.
I sent you the Snapchat. So I was going in there. I was gonna be Superman, because for the last month or two since the new movie came out, I've gotten at least 15 times. You look just like Superman. So I was like, all right, I'll be in for Halloween. I've never really been a superhero. I always try and do something like weird and unique. So I figured, I'll just go with the generic Superman and do it. I get there, and the costume was just way out of my league budget-wise. So I turn around, and there's a $30 one-piece hot dog suit. So I'm going as a hot dog. It's got a mustard squirt on it that goes all the way down. It's head to toe.
All right,
I'm going to be walking around as a big old hot dog.
I like
Big old
that.
weenie.
Big old wiener.
That's good.
I'm gonna call you Oscar.
Oscar
Meyer.
Oscar the wiener.
Well, man, you should be happy people say you look like Superman, because it's a lot better than people saying you look like Joe Dirt. You might as well just do that. So congratulations on that, Mitch.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Mitch's Man Cave. Thank you for tuning in, and you may now exit the Man Cave.